Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about polymers, what is definition of polymers, what are polymers and different classification of polymers. So first let's see the definition. Chemically polymers are complex giant macromolecules made from the repeating units which are derived from small molecules called monomers. Both inorganic as well as organic polymers are known. And now we'll discuss about classification of polymers. So classification based on sources. So there are three types of sources: natural, synthetic and semisynthetic polymers. Natural polymers, polymers found in nature mostly in plants and animals, are called natural polymers. Cotton, linen, natural rubber are examples of natural polymers. The next is semisynthetic polymers. Polymers which are derived from natural polymers are called semisynthetic polymers. Example: cellulose acetate, rayon, cellulose nitrate. So generally natural polymers are modified into semisynthetic polymers. Next is synthetic polymers. So these are purely man-made. These are man-made polymers prepared in laboratory. These are prepared by polymerization of one monomer or copolymerization of two or more monomers. Okay, there that we are again discussing in further classification, that what is homopolymer and what is copolymers. So example of synthetic polymers are nylon and terling. So this is all for classification based on sources. Next kind of classification of polymer is classification. Okay, the further classification of natural polymers. Natural polymers are further classified as plant polymers and animal polymers. So plant polymers, these are obtained from plants. Cotton and linen are obtained from cotton plant and flax plant respectively. Natural rubber is manufactured from latex obtained from bark of rubber trees. Animal polymers, these are derived from animal sources. Wool is obtained from hair of sheep. Silk is obtained from silkworm. Here we complete with classification based on sources. We discussed natural polymers at the beginning. Natural polymer is subdivided into animal polymers and plant polymers. Then we discuss semisynthetic polymers with example, and then synthetic polymer. Natural polymers are modified into semisynthetic polymers, and synthetic polymers are purely man-made. Then we discuss the natural polymer examples in detail, plant as well as animal polymers with examples. And now classification based on structure of polymers. So this is B classification. First is linear polymers. This polymer consists of long straight chains. Example: HDP, high density polyethylene, HDPE. Okay, it is generally we called it as plastic used in buckets and all. PVC, polyvinyl chloride, nylon, etc. So these are the polymers having long and straight chains. There are no branches involved in it. Next is branch chain polymers. These polymers contain linear chains having, say, some branches. Low density polyethylene, LDPE, and glycogen. So these are some examples of branch chain polymers which are having branches. Next category is third one from B category, cross-linked or network polymers. In this type of polymers, the initially formed linear polymer chains are joined together to form three-dimensional network structure. Due to the presence of cross-links, these polymers are also called cross-linked polymers. Example: bakelite, melamine. Bakelite is generally used in toys and electrical switches. They act as an insulator, we can say. And melamine is generally used in crockeries. Then next is classification based on mode of polymerization. So this is third category. So there, let's see it. The addition polymers are formed by the repeated addition of some same or different monomer molecules. The monomers are unsaturated compound. So see the reaction ethene. How to draw ethene? First draw two carbons, then double bond in between them, and at the end draw the hydrogens. Depending upon carbon makes four bonds, you can draw the hydrogens accordingly. So in the presence of Ziegler-Natta catalyst at 333 to 343 Kelvin and 6 to 7 atmosphere, they get converted into HDPE, high density polyethylene. Okay, how you can write the polymer reaction? Just remove this double bond and draw only single bond, and then draw the structure, draw the brackets, and this n number of monomer you can draw it over here. So that's how it is very easy to draw structure of polymer high density polyethylene. Okay, you have to show these bonds out of the bracket so the chain gets continued. So this mode of polymerization is called addition polymerization, and this ethene is an example of addition polymers, HDP, high density polyethylene. Next is condensation polymerization. The condensation polymers are formed by repeated condensation reaction between different bifunctional or trifunctional monomer unit, usually with elimination of small molecules such as water, alcohol, hydrogen chloride, that is HCl, etc. Nylon 6, nylon 6,6, terylene are few examples of condensation polymerization. So how you can distinguish between addition and condensation? In addition, only single monomer is used, that is ethylene. But in preparation of these polymers, more than two or more than two monomers are used. For example, in preparation of nylon 6,6, ethylene glycol and ethylene glycol and terephthalic acid is used for this terylene, and for nylon 6,6, adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine are used as monomers. So hexamethylene diamine is one monomer, adipic acid is second monomer. They will combine. So we require two monomers minimum. So that kind of polymerization will called as condensation polymerization. Small water molecule goes out in the reaction. So it satisfies the definition of condensation polymerization. In terylene, terephthalic acid and ethylene glycol were monomers. So two monomers they combine, again they will remove water. Water will go out, and it is again example of condensation polymer. In addition polymer, only one reactant is there, that is ethene. But here there are more than two reactants. Next is polymerization definition. It is the fundamental process by which low molecular mass compounds are converted into high molecular weight compounds by linking together of repeating structural units with covalent bonds. So this is the proper definition of polymerization. Next and the last category, that is classification based on molecular forces. So there are four kinds of molecular forces: elastomers, fibers, thermoplastics, and thermosetting polymers. So let's discuss elastomers first. These are polymers having the weakest intermolecular forces of attraction between the polymer chains. The weak forces permit the polymer to be stretched. A few cross links are introduced in between the chains, which help the polymer to retract to its original position after the force is released. As in vulcanized rubber, elastomers thus possess an elastic character. Buna S, Buna N, neoprene are few examples of elastomers. So weakest van der Waals force is present, cross linkages are there, and then they have given the example. That's it for elastomers. The next category under this molecular forces is fibers. These are polymers which have the strongest intermolecular forces, such as hydrogen bonds or dipole-dipole interactions. These polymers can be used for making fiber, as their molecules are long and thread-like. Nylon 6,6 and terylene are some common fibers. So interactions are stronger as compared to elastomers. Why? Because there are hydrogen bonding, OH, NH or FH. Most probably OH is there in the case of hydrogen bonding. Here dipole-dipole interactions are also there, and because of that they are having long and thread-like structure. Nylon 6,6 and terylene are some examples of fibers. Next category is thermoplastic polymers. So this polymer possess intermolecular forces of attraction intermediate between elastomers and fibers. So they are stronger than elastomers and weaker than fibers in the intermolecular forces. These are linear or slightly branched chain polymers capable of repeatedly softening on heating and hardening on cooling. So we can reshape it. Okay, they are these are recyclable polymers. Example is polyethylene, polypropylene, polystyrene, PVC, polyvinyl chloride. So these are the examples of thermosetting thermoplastic polymers. Next category is thermosetting polymers. These polymers are cross-linked or heavily branched molecules which on heating undergo extensive cross-linking in molds and again become infusible. These polymers cannot be reshaped, so we cannot reshape it like thermoplastic polymers. Okay, when we gave shape to this polymer, they remain in that shape only. Example is bakelite, urea, formaldehyde, resin, etc. And now we are going to distinguish between these two polymers, thermoplastic polymers and thermosetting polymers. That's the last part of the video. So first point of thermoplastic, these polymers soften on heating and harden on cooling. And for thermosetting, on heating they undergo excessive cross-linking and become hard. Second point, these polymers can be remolded, recast and reshaped. These polymers cannot be remolded, recast and reshaped. Third point, these are less brittle and soluble in some organic solvents. For this, these are more brittle and insoluble in organic solvents. Fourth one, these are formed by addition polymerization. For that of thermosetting, these are formed by condensation polymerization. Then fifth, these polymers usually have linear structures. Fifth, for thermosetting, these polymers have three-dimensional cross-link structure, means more complex structure in case of thermosetting polymers. Examples of thermoplastic, polyethylene, PVC, polyvinyl chloride, Teflon is there, nylon is there, etc. For thermosetting, bakelite, urea, formaldehyde, resin, terylene. So these are the examples. So here we discuss what are polymers, then their properties, not their properties, we discuss classification of polymers. So broad classification is classification based on sources, then classification based on structure, then classification based on mode of polymerization, and at the end classification based on molecular forces. So that's all from this video. Thanks for watching.